Well, they tried everything in their power to stop RFK, and amazingly, he still made it. RFK beat the odds. And now it's time for him to take care of business. This is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Kennedy was confirmed as the new Secretary of Health and Human Services, following a brilliant battle against Democrat obstructionists and deep-seated Republican rhinos. Before we get into the news, please take a few seconds to smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, Patriots, where we go one, we go all. The Republicans are finally sticking together to defeat the old guards of the Obama administration and restore truth, honesty, and the American dream. RFK Jr. was confirmed with a vote of 52 to 48 that was just passed in the Senate. The only Republican that voted against RFK was Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader. Why would the Senate Minority Leader vote against the will of the American people? Mitch represents an outdated faction of the Republican Party that has been completely taken over by President Donald Trump and his new MAGA populist movement that has turned the White House and Washington, D.C. upside down. Dr. Anthony Fauci, beware, you have been put on notice and RFK is coming after you and Big Pharma that hurt and harmed so many people around the world. Mitch McConnell was seen leaving the Senate hearing in a wheelchair with Secret Service agents all around him. Let's face it, Mitch McConnell's days in power is almost over. The people in his own state knows that he is a rhino, and he is too old and frail to do the job. Congress needs to place term restrictions and age restrictions on these senators because their job is very important, and when they are old and frail and can't do their job, like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, they should be removed and stripped of their power. Look at Joe Biden. For the last 4 years he was a walking zombie. Falling off bikes, stairs and shaking hands with the thin air was just the tip of the iceberg for old Joe. Mitch was caught several times zoning in and out and staring into the empty space, while millions of Americans watched in horror. We need limits on these characters. Biden's entire presidency was ran by the deep state and his handlers. It was more than obvious that Biden was being controlled by Pelosi and George Soros. What the Biden administration did over the last 4 years will go down in history as one of the biggest frauds and attacks on U.S. soil by both foreign and domestic enemies. This is a very exciting moment in history for the new Republican Party that is focused and zoned in on the Democratic machine that let over 20 million illegals into the United States. Many of them were murderers, criminals, and terrorists from other countries. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency is finding billions and billions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse. Who would have thought that USAID was controlling the mainstream legacy media and paying thousands of journalists around the world to create anti-American propaganda? Politico, BBC, and CBS News should be ashamed of themselves. Most of these journalists are lawyers. That's why it was so easy for them to lie like crazy to the American people. President Trump has installed his Make America First team to make America the best place in the world to live and dream again. Shame on Mitch McConnell for going against 77 million Americans in this country, and then he had the nerve and the audacity to vote and the jump in the bed with the deep state. God bless America and protect each and every one of us. Please keep President Trump in your prayers 24/7. I would ask that everyone also keep the victims of California's wildfires and Carolina's victims in your thoughts and prayers. Now is the time for all good men and women to come to the aid of this great country. The MAGA agenda was created to bring people back together again and promote good over evil and God over the devil. Thanks again for liking and subscribing to our channel. Please leave us a comment. We need you to get involved in our community. Until we meet again, my friends, this is Michael Knight, signing out.
Of deep state, if you want to talk about the deep state politics here, but in the FBI in itself, just trusting the FBI. I mean, we have not trusted him in past administrations, the FBI in general. The directors and former directors and also members of the FBI have been leaking information to the press in order to advance their political purposes. And the FBI should not be a place of politics. I mean, the FBI has a role, and the FBI has really lost a lot of credibility. I mean, the FBI does not have credibility. So I think obviously there's going to be backlash. Everyone's going to criticize on the left that Donald Trump has yet once again picked another, conservative who happens to also be a friend, who happens to be an ally. But that's kind of what you need in this White House, because if you don't pick people that you trust, then that's when the leaks happen and that's when the backstabbing happens. And for once, he's got people surrounded by him. And I know that Trump is very much a loyalist and he believes in the people that are loyal to him. And so you know that you're not going to be getting that with Kash Patel and with a lot of other nominees that he's chosen to elect.
Yeah, and this is someone who's also